banger? Hell yeah.
Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you'll need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Right. Test, test, test. See if anybody can hear me right now. All right, it says audio is back.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm gonna have to go through a few of these screens. You guys are gonna have to bear with me a little bit just to make sure that everything is working. Can you guys confirm that OC is back?
Testing, testing, testing.
Tragedy is
working now?
good. All right. I
Perfect.
got to be honest, not 100% sure what is going on. But you guys missed an amazing intro. I was super excited. I introduced the master of spaghetti, the doctor of technical analysis, the OC guy. We are back. We got audio. Let's get it started. So, what you guys missed, what I was talking about in the intro, is we had the spot ETF approval for Ethereum. However, as you guys can see, it really hasn't moved. So we're trying to figure out why that is. Potentially, it could have been priced in, but hey, OC guy, now that we're live, we got audio and we're sounding good here. What do you think, man? Why did ETH actually go down and not up after the spot ETF approval?
Well, we need to understand that just like in Bitcoin, we're opening the door to, to a whole new level, right? And this whole new level, these guys don't like to lose money. In fact, they want and like to earn money. So, and here's gonna go my opinion, and I'm gonna go with my tinfoil hat for a little bit. Not because I don't think that it's in the conspiracy thing, but I just want to be a little bit careful when I say this, which is remember that when they're approving ETF, they should already have some money, right? And what happened when we have that liquidity building up on either Ethereum or exactly what happened on Bitcoin? Well, that's an amazing opportunity to start selling out a bunch at the same time, fast money for whoever is holding it, right, and not lose the area that we're holding on the chart. So basically, we're still on exactly the same point where we were 2 or 3 days ago. And if you see the volume spike is just, it's just insane, right? So so far, I believe that that is market manipulation, especially on big players that already have been into Ethereum, and they just were wearing to make some money. And this was, I believe, a great opportunity for them to sell out, because you can see those weeks. Man, those 4 hours weeks, there were, I don't know, amazingly, not even the roller coasters are doing that, right? So it just goes up, somebody sells massively, the rest of the public just buys massively, and so on and so forth. The volatility was there, and yeah, that's what we got. That's why I think in fact, let me just make sure that I do um say this. It is that I believe we're doing even better of what Bitcoin did on its ETF, because once we had the ETF approval on Bitcoin for real, because we had two fake outs or fake news. The price just started hovering downwards, right, into a steady into a steady movement, and then we hit dynamic reactor, and finally we bounce back up. But Ethereum, it's been holding, so I think it's doing a great job. What are your thoughts on that, Trifly?
So I have a couple thoughts. I think this might be a true sell or buy the news, sell the event kind of deal. The reason I think that is because we are in the age of information, right? So the information leaked out that the spot ETF for Ethereum was going to get approved, right? So everybody immediately jumped on that. They tried to front run it. And so I think that part of it is priced in. And then there's people that are going to be taking profits as well in the midst of all this. Like you said, with Bitcoin, you did see an initial pullback on that ETF approval. I think you're going to see something a little bit similar, but it doesn't mean it's over, because if you remember after that pullback, which was a pretty nice pullback, I think it was close to about 20%, we then moved up to the new all-time high, which 73K. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar pattern with Ethereum. And that's kind of what I'm anticipating. I I don't see how this is going to be anything but bullish. You're just getting more exposure for crypto. So now people are going to learn about Ethereum on top of learning about Bitcoin. And so, I just think the more exposure, the better. So we'll see how it plays out. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think ultimately this is bullish. And so not too surprised though at the same time to see a little bit of a pullback. But yeah. So
Absolutely. I mean, I do completely agree with you. I think in fact on the poll I'm hitting it is from now on it's up because I'm also bullish on the news. I mean, right now we're getting new kind of money, right? And directed for one single institution, which could be leading the way on a couple of things. Or I mean, either going up or going down. It's a little bit dangerous, but I believe that since we are early on crypto, mostly the push movement should be to the upside. Crypto Pollo, hey, what's up, brother? He's saying, Jose, no Ethereum ticket yet, guys. You can't buy it. I do agree with that because I mean you cannot buy it yet. But what about those individuals that maybe do hold a little bit and they're part of those big boards, right? What about I mean getting Ethereum kind of like in an anonymous way, right? Where they can I don't know, decide what happens with those wallets without being with their on their name, and they can execute based on who's managing those earnings or those holdings, right? So I still believe that it is a manipulation possibility. That's why I was wearing my team for a hat, right? Because I mean, it's not that they can do it right now directly, and also I don't think that they will be doing it directly because that will be against the law. That will be manipulation, right? But yeah, that's what I got on that crypto for you. Shout out, brother. Also,
right.
Amy leaves crypto. What's up? I see you shouting out in the chat. Who else we got? Trey Flight.
All right, let's go ahead and get a little rundown here. We got Blackie Chan, Chef T, Fresh, Trade Intuition is in the chat. Jim G. Wonder how many of y'all I lost with all these audio issues because a couple of you look new. Eric Wallen, guess what, bro? I ain't got your chart today. Sorry. Army Piper's in the house. I just talked to him on the phone. You guys probably saw me doing that. Let's see. Speed, what's up, man? How you doing? Peace. Magnum DeFi. Going through C90 for the win. Yoda, how you doing? Tesla Pilot, Blackie Chan. I think I already shouted you out. Samuel Cabrera and Harp. Let's see. I think that is about it. Going down, Louis B. God, there's a lot of you in the chat today. Thank you. Thank you. I think everyone else. DB Cooper, Muhammad. How you doing? Let's see. French Toaster. Hola, my friend. I'm sorry if I missed you. There is actually a lot of people in the chat today. Arson246, Ninja Glock. And that's about what I got. I think Amy got a shout out already. Cool. So let's go ahead and start getting into some of the news. I appreciate you guys for being here today. Truly, truly appreciate it. And let's go over here to my screen. Let's see if that worked. There it is. All right, so looking at the total market cap for today, it is down 3.55%, and the volume over 24 hours is up 46.11%. So it looks like people are leaving the market a little bit, so that's pretty interesting. And you know what? There was actually a massive pump yesterday, so I bet that actually incorporates all of that movement yesterday when you had that dip. Then you had a big spike, and then now you have it pulling back again. So very interesting to watch that. Bitcoin dominance is down only a teeny percentage. You'd think there might be a little bit of rotation out of Bitcoin and possibly into Ethereum and some of the alts because this is ultimately bullish for them more so than Bitcoin. But let's look at the fear and greed. That's sitting at 64, which is still in greed, but it is trending down. Bitcoin sitting at 67,296, which is down 2% over the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down 3%, but ultimately over 7 days is up 21%. BNB is up 3.43% over 7 days. Solana is just up a little bit over 7 days, and then it's down actually 3.27% over 24 hours. XRP making a teeny tiny move. XRP is like the new stable coin. Sorry if you guys love XRP. Still not moving much. It's crazy. Dogecoin is sitting at number 8. That is up 8.62% over 7 days and down up 0.92% over the last 24 hours. And then you have Toncoin, that is number 9 now. I did not realize that was in the top 10. I got to be honest with you. That is pulling back a little bit. And then Cardano is also pulling back a little bit. So there you go. That's your top 10. Looks like Avalanche, Shiba Inu, Polkadot, Chainlink are trying to move up in there, trying to fight for that number 10 spot. All right. Let's look at the economic calendar. Not going to get too long-winded about this, but of note today is durable goods orders. It looks like it actually already came in. Actual was 0.7%, and the forecast was negative 0.5%. So that is green, which means I believe that is good. Let's see here. Let's actually go in. You can actually, if you guys didn't know, you can actually click it and open it up and take a look-see and read the actual summary here. So looks like it rose by 0.7% month over month, following a downwardly revised 0.8% increase in March and defying market expectations. So there you go. I guess it is bullish. Let's see if that actually has an impact on the market. Not sure that it will. I haven't actually looked at all the tickers right now because I got 18 screens up and I am running the show today. But next Thursday, you got GDP growth rate. That is going to be an important one. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure Piper will talk about that leading into it, but that's for Thursday, May 30th. So keep that on your radars because you can always have some movement based off of that. So let's look at the crypto bubbles over the last day. Audio is up 55%. That thing is moving. Okay, Ondo, 16.9%. Don't forget that one's actually in our Piper Academy DCA portfolio. LDO is up 14.6%. True 18.4, OGN 14.3. So those are some of your big movers. Let's look for some of your bigger movers on the negative side. Looks like Ford. It doesn't look like anything's really getting crushed. So that's good news. Let's go ahead and back it out though. Let's look at the weekly here and see what's moving. There you go. There's a few of them. Drift is up 87%. Bonk is looking good. That's another one that's in the portfolio. So hey, we had a couple picks that were pretty good. I thank you guys for that one. All right, let's go over to the liquidations. And we got, all right, over the past 24 hours, 89,193 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations comes in at 324 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Binance, and that was ETH at a value of $12.4 million. So I'm going to take a guess there that was probably a short. And when it moved up, they probably got liquidated when it spiked up. That's just a guess, but could be a long. I don't know. Maybe someone got super bullish on the news and when it wicked down, they got liquidated. But let's see here. Let's go back over to the duo cam and chat there. Let's see if that actually worked. Sorry guys. I am a noob at running this thing. There you go. Back over to the duo cam. OC, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking about the market? Anything pop out to you? Anything of interest? Anything you're tracking?
I'm tracking a couple of things, but I'm also looking at, I mean, Bitcoin movement because we're losing the area that I had that I've been looking for, right? It's not a major loss, but so good. I mean, we are getting to the trend line that we were looking at yesterday. Especially, you were pointing out that trend line right here. Just quick thing, I have a little bit of a delay on my end. Are we on my chart? Just
coming over right now. There you go.
Perfect. All right. So remember that we've been following on the Wyckoff pattern here, and it's been playing out very, very, very beautifully. And right here, I was expecting for a bounce at these areas because I did look for this upper range on the Wyckoff pattern, and the retracement from an SOS usually ends up being there. So far, we're breaking to that area, but I mean, we're heading to the center of the channel right here. Not only that, we have the trend line that Trade Flight was looking forward to, and seems like that's going to be our next possible area of support, right? I mean, it's not there yet defined. Remember that I am expecting a flip of the ribbon wherever it happens, so I'm not chasing after prices. I'm just letting it run, right? So far, I'm going to be updating my My prediction here a little bit lower, maybe with the flip of the ribbon, because we're not there yet on that support area. Another thing that I want to pull up here is going to be Ethereum. So on Ethereum, I mentioned that we are not doing that bad. In fact, if we look at this area right here with this reversal, it seems like we are kind of like doing sort of like the same, right? On where we're going up, down, slightly up, and then a possible retracement. I don't know if we're gonna have this retracement, although we have dynamic reactor coming in strong and we are losing the zero line. So there is one key area that yesterday I was pointing out with my Slinky Boy. Here, let me show you guys. But I want you guys to look at this line right here, right? Look at this line, which is part of my Market Oracle Pro. It is my prime range, pointing out at this area. And then if I look for confluence, I'm going to be turning on in many other indicators, right? Look at, for example, my support and resistances. It is basically exactly at the same area right here than my prime trend assistance, right? If I start looking for something else, and here you see that very close to it, we have an equilibrium zone, and we will be going into a daily what is it, gap in here, fair value gap. All right, so as you can see, we have a very clear and clean zone for a retracement. And not only that, remember that yesterday we were looking at this area right here. All right, so yeah, my little slinky guy, well, the price turned on him, right? But I mean, I do remember that one of our alumni, Kimi Ku, shout out to you, brother. He did enter up here yesterday. That was a very brave movement, very dangerous. Nonetheless, seems like he knew what he was doing, entering on big support, going back up for the retracement, took his taking profit, and so far I keep expecting a pullback to these areas right here, right? The best case scenario for me is not losing this flag or this trend line here, which I know is not exactly perfect, but this is the estimate that I was looking forward to. All right, so far on Ethereum looking great. And yeah, let me throw it back to you, brother. And then I have Gala, because CryptoPoyo was requesting for Gala. But yeah, turning it back to you, brother.
Right on. Cool. I'm actually going to go over my chart here and let's take a look-see at that. So I actually entered a trade yesterday, and that was based on some little support and resistance levels. Nothing too crazy. It was a straight YOLO play. I still have some liquidity. They're still letting me trade with CoinW. They haven't closed that account yet. They also are not letting me transfer that money. So I'm going to talk to them about that. I thought I was allowed to keep the profits. We'll see about that. So what I was looking at is a couple of these support and resistance lines. This is on the 15-minute chart. This is a little bit more, we'll say, brave, a little bit more degen type plays. But it was around the afternoon here. We had a little dip down and I jumped on it pretty quick. So I was looking at about 67.1 or so, I think was with my actual entry. It did dip down a little bit. There was some previous support. If you go back left on the chart, you can look at that. But all I did was I jumped in and I made the play here. I rode it up to this area right here. So what I was looking at, because obviously none of this existed, all I had to work off was this right here. So I had this purple line. Let me go ahead and change this one to green. And there you go. So what I waited for is I waited for the interaction here. And I was kind of waiting to see what it kind of did. There's actually some previous support back and left as well. I was waiting, and so I saw it was continuing to move up and right. I went down to the 5-minute, and you could see kind of it was kind of almost, you could see the pressure was building up from the bottom right. It was still kind of pushing up and right with the price. So all I did was move my stop loss up, made sure I locked in the profits, and then it actually pushed right through it. So this was my exit right here, because this was just previous support. I figured it would act as resistance. It did, and it came to way down before it ultimately went back up. So it was a real quick little degen play that I made yesterday, and it was strictly based off of support and resistance, as well as coming down to the RSI and seeing that I got my trend up and right that I always talk about. So there you go. Just looking at that, and let's go over to the liquidation heat map. I haven't talked about that too much yet. So Looking at the 3-day, I'm gonna go ahead and refresh it, make sure that we're still good to go. Yeah, there's nothing really in the area. There's nothing that's gonna drive price action too much. Looking at the 3-day, you can see where liquidity is sitting at 72,350 around there, right in the $72,000 range, and that is obviously people going short because the all-time high was at about 73K. So they are taking this opportunity to go short. So yeah, I don't think that the any of the liquidity is going to drive the price right now. And then going over to Bitcoin, let's actually go to the daily and take a look at that. See what we can pull from the chart here. So you can see right now that the trend is not looking too favorable over the last few days. We do have a little bit of hope in this area. You can see it right here. So at about 67,000, which was another reason I made that play, because you could see that there was resistance in this area as well. But we need that to kind of hold up. If it doesn't hold up, there's definitely an opportunity that the price could continue to pull back. See this fixed range volume profile here. Looking at that, you can see you got the point of control there that is also kind of aligning with where we're at. So that kind of gave me further validation when I was entering the trade. That was all things that I was kind of taking into account. Let's see. I think that, yeah, man, I don't know. I think if we lose this area, then we could be pulling back probably to about, I would say 64.7 or so, on the daily is what I'm looking at as a nice area for support. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but let's go ahead and get back into the news here. Looking at this one here. All right. So here's a reason we don't like banks. All right. Wells Fargo was accused of draining customers' accounts without notice or authorization and a blatant disregard of consumer loan protections. So what has happened? A lady has now opened a class action lawsuit against Wells Fargo. So to add a little bit of context, now this person was in a little bit of debt. They did have some bills they needed to pay, but the bank just went in and took that money. Now that's a no-go, right? Because you have to provide that person the opportunity to make those payments, to make right by by the bank and actually pay that money back, or at least maybe get on a payment plan. Or sometimes you can even get a like a forbearance, like where they say, hey, okay, we understand that you're having a tough time right now. We're going to give you an extension on paying those debts back, right? So they just went in and took it. So, that's the reason, a lot of people like crypto, right? Because you don't have that third party entity that can come in and take that from you, especially if you have it on cold storage. So wanted to take a look, see at that, but this is probably the big thing that we need to talk about here, right? Why isn't everything mooning after the spot ETF approval for Ethereum? Now, I haven't done a whole lot of research, so I'm going to take it for what it is, what we're reading here. It's Cointelegraph. We know their history, but what this individual is saying, I will give them a little bit of a shout out here. Lex at Lex Node, alpha on why the ETH isn't moving is only a 19B4S was approved, not an S1. So what they're saying is the approval was by Division of Trading Markets on a delegated authority, which means a commissioner can challenge in the next 10 days. And basically what he's saying is this is a way to hide something else. This is kind of a political approval, we'll say, and it looks like they might be trying to sneak something else in the background. So got to do a little research on that because I just pulled it up just before the show, but it's something to look into. It says at the bottom here, expect S1s will not get approved anytime soon. So very interesting. Maybe people that are in the know, maybe that's why this is not pumping. Maybe that big money hasn't really moved into it. Maybe a lot of the moves that we've seen could have been retail. That's very, very possible. So I'm going to go back and let's go ahead and talk about this on the Duo Cam. But the actually one last thing here, because this is something I want to discuss as well when we go back to Duo Cam, is does this approval, the ETF decision, does it mean that some of these other tokens are not securities? So think about that. So when we went through this before, the SEC released a list of altcoins essentially that were securities. Matic was one of them. I believe ADA, AVAX were all listed in that report. But you could see that most of those tokens that were listed, the price has been very suppressed. So, let's go back to DuoCam. Let's kind of talk about that because I want to see what you're thinking on that, OC. I think that this could have major implications for some of the layer twos, especially like Matic, something that I believed in or I was excited about. I think that lost a lot of its luster when it got delisted off of Robinhood, and it was listed as a security. I think that had a major impact. So like to see what you think about that one.
Absolutely. So, I mean, absolutely, I do agree with you. I mean, it's a big restriction and a big issue for those cryptocurrencies that had been listed, right, as a security. But that also kind of like a test them. And I believe that if we think that one of those projects are worth it, I mean, sadly, some of them will have it worse than others, right? But right now, it's their opportunity to prove themselves to be useful. And despite it being on a, let's just call it blacklist or red list, well, then they can show how they're helping the ecosystem. And then if they're good enough, it doesn't matter if they are securities. We'll see also maybe rest of the world jumping in because remember those are cryptocurrencies, right? And not the whole population. It's in the states. Although the majority and most important of the companies are located on the states, we can also see or will be seeing other influxes, right, on those important coins. So I believe that, I mean, sadly, it is some tough time for many of those assets, but this is their time to shine. I mean, I'll be looking this as an opportunity other than a than something I mean horribly wrong. I mean, because the worst part have already happened, right? So what what is there left to be done, right? So that's are my thoughts. I mean, it's time for them to start pushing forward, pushing harder, and also provide value to the crypto community for them to survive this maybe red listed thing and come up well, I mean, successfully on this on these games that we are seeing all around the world.
So, I mean, do you think with this news, with the ETF, the Ethereum ETF, do are we safe to say at this point that the other tokens, the altcoins that were listed, are not securities? Like, have we now officially got into that realm of saying like, hey, like we're good here, like we can get back into
I
some of
would.
those projects?
All right, I'm gonna answer two ways here. I'm gonna answer from the bottom of my heart, and then I'm gonna answer with think will be a little bit more
Don't be
realistic
emotional,
answer, right?
OC. This is
I
why we
would.
do TA.
What is it?
I said, don't be emotional. This is why we
What
do
was?
TA.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I need to say that, and this is from the bottom of my heart, I will say that yes, we should be clear, right? And it shouldn't be an issue because we already have to find what is not. But also with the government, we never know. We never know. And I mean, it will be have to take to court or to analysis, and we'll see what goes on because I don't think there's gonna be an easy solution. I don't think that we're gonna be having the answers right away because of bureaucracy. But yeah, I mean, I personally think that we should. I mean, we have the clear path, all right. But I don't think in reality, on practical terms, it's gonna be a yes. I think it's not gonna be a yes, right, or an easy solution. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours about this? Do you think are we clear the path or not yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I would like to believe that we are trending in that direction. I think this is, positive steps in the direction of saying, yeah, like these things are not securities, they're commodities. But then there still needs to be rules and regulations put in place of how we're actually going to, use crypto as well as invest in it, right? So that's still, I still think we're kind of waiting on some clarity in terms of regulation. But I'm hoping like this makes some of these things move. Like I know Matic did move a little bit. I don't know. I think in the like yesterday or something, it moved probably like 5%. So hopefully this is what we need for some of those coins to make their moves. But yeah, man, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'm hoping. I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way. So, oh, let's get into some TA. Let's see what we got here in the chat. I'm gonna take a little scroll through the chat here because I'm not actually able to look at Discord right now and see, Crux of Crypto or anybody putting all the coins there in the background for us. So I'm gonna have to go through the chat. I'm gonna do this old school style here. And I'm not seeing a lot, so we must be talking about something you guys want to talk about here. Let's see. Crypto Polio
Crypto
tagged
is
me.
requesting Ondo, ADA. What else is being requested?
There you go.
Ethereum. We already did Ethereum.
Cool. Let's got Ondo, I think. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So we're gonna be doing this live. This is gonna be a little bit different here because usually I can do this in the background while Piper's talking. I can't do that in the background right now. So looking at Ondo on the daily. Oh gosh, what do you want me to do with this? looking looking at that. Let me go ahead and bring this up here. All right. Looking at the chart here on Ondo, we got this on the daily, and dude, it is making a move. All right, so we had the fixed range volume profile. It stayed in that for a while. It's kind of pogoing back and forth. They had this last hit. If you actually bring it out here just a little bit here to this last one where it's still in the range, there you go. All right, so man, I mean, this is kind of a trader's paradise if you like to do intraday stuff or just play a range. If you're trying to play support and resistance, man, look at that one. That looks really, really nice. But now it is officially broken out. It was messing with the all-time high here, and now we're kind of getting price discovery. So let's do this. Let's do a fib extension. So put right here. Fib extension. Cool. Low, high, low. There you go. So that's something that you can potentially look at. I'm going to drag it out a little bit just so the prices aren't overlapping. That's something you can look at right there. All right. So you can see, man, I mean, it almost pushed all the way up to the top of that fib extension. You did see a little bit of move off the 61H, which is expected, right? This is kind of why you like to do these. But that's about what I would look for is at the top right now. Okay, so this is very short term. And again, when you get into price discovery or a coin is moving outside of the range that it was in and it goes kind of to the top side and you really don't have that history to go back to, at least on Binance, I'd have to look on maybe another exchange to see if there's some more history. But it's really hard to do TA once you get above the all-time high. So when you're looking at that, it's kind of like you got to hold on tight. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I like to do, like if you're late to the party, getting in on a project, what I like to see a lot of times, and a lot of times you will see it, to be honest with you, draw a line there. Draw a line right about where you see resistance. See this wick, see that wick. So you're going to have a little bit of a range. All right. So if you want to do 2, you can do that. There you go. All right. So you got a little bit of a range right there. That's what I would look for in terms of like, I would say at some point price will probably come back down and retest that area of support. And when it retests this area of support and you get confirmation of it, and you see me draw this every day almost, we'll come down and we'll probably see something like that. Then you can look for a movement up and right. So you would like to see the RSI or the prime oscillator reset a little bit. It is overbought right now, but that again, the price is moving up pretty quickly up and right. So a lot of times you're going to see overbought flash on the indicators. and you're going to see multiple hits of it. So this is bullish, right? Because it's just instantly just coming out, pegging up again. So I would say be careful at this point, but if you're in, congratulations, because it's looking pretty good for you. I wouldn't be scared, depending on your position, to take a little profits at this point, especially if you got in, down here in this area or even back here. Probably a lot of you guys have been talking about Ondo for a long time. So yeah, I would just say be careful at this point with trying to get in. I will say that a lot of times when I see these moves come up so aggressively up and right, I do like to look for short opportunities, because a lot of times you'll see a little bit of a pullback before you see that continuation. So that is Ondo. Super basic, nothing too crazy to look at there. It's looking bullish. Structure overall is looking bullish. So pass it over to OC. What do you got, man?
Absolutely. So first of all, I want to touch base on one of my favorite traders, which is Nancy Pelosi. I don't know why she's doing great, but I mean, she might be a great trader, right? Just like the rest of the government people. All right, so let's take a look at what she's doing right here, very quick, on 2024. So just keeping track. I'm not going to be jumping very much into details, but just 2024, she sold a little bit of what is it, the pound, and then she repurchased the pound thing. I don't know why, but also another most important. Look at how much she's been spending right here on March the 4th, 2024, Forge investment. So there you go. Just a quick reminder that we are keeping track on what big movers are doing, and also what are they declaring on their big wallets, right, or trading action. So going back to Gala, because this was requested, by the way, guys, something that has been playing out like crazy, are the reversals of chart prime. By the way, you can activate them in the market article right here on signal mode on reversal per trends. I usually go by reversal and then turn off trends and turn on my candle highlights. I'll show you that trick in a bit, but at this point you can see those reversals are pretty much spot on, right? Spot on. Look at that, beautiful. Remember, this is not a reversal. This is a signal. Remember, on signals, we don't enter on signals. We enter on pullbacks. And then on pullbacks, it gives you the best opportunity for a possible trade, right? So no financial advice. Nonetheless, I wanted to point out that we're having some crazy movements with those reversals, especially on Gala, right? So now that we have defined that we have very good accuracy on those reversals, let me show you something. We have a reversal in here that played out very nicely, but we're back at where we started. Also, look at the distance between this reversal and this reversal. Now look at the distance between this reversal and this reversal. I think I'm making my point clear. I don't know, but we can see a decrease, right, line or line length between those reversals. So we're getting a little bit more compacted, and we are building up pressure, right? So something that CryptoPodio mentioned, let me just clean my spaghetti up for a little bit, is that he has an entry of 0.39. So I love that entry. And guys, again, not financial advice, but I think that if you are feeling like jumping into Gala, this is also a great zone to start looking for a DCA entry, right? Also, I want to show you some caveat here. Look at this wick, right? This is a 17% wick. And if we extrapolate it, we can see that we have our possible entry zone, because we have numerous time had going into this boxing here. What am I saying this? Because if we look at Bitcoin, all right, and we have not yet touched the trend line here, and we can still do a little bit farther movement down. And by the way, we have already a possible reversal. All right, we could be seeing a Gala reaching out or down to these liquidity areas, right? So I think that is an amazing entry. Also, let's back that up with a little bit of our support and resistances. Let me get started with those support and resistances at my prime ranges. Those prime ranges, look at that, are pointing right into the box that I am expecting for a possible entry, right? Another point of confluence, it is the big, huge support that we have. And also we have sorry, I just went out of my head here. Let me just remove this very quick. There we go. A liquidity zone right there. That is not only pointing exactly off the reversal area that I was looking at, but also it have a big enough difference between the bears and the bulls volume that we have seen. All right, so far looking great for that possible entry. And this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to enter there. I'm just saying that that looks great for a possible entry. What if you already have entered and looking forward for a movement? All right, let me just clean things up in here so we can look forward on what's happening. So we have the market dumps. All right, market dumps has been in for a little while. So I will be expecting or looking for the change from market dumps to market pumps. All right, when I see that change, it will be basically a trigger for me to look for the nearest support and then start DCAing there for a possible movement. If you're talking about leverage entries, I think we do have a very clean entry here, which could be this loud order block. And this is a very risky entry. Now, I'm not saying that you should be taking it. This is not financial advice, right? But we could be going to the loud order block, bouncing back to the money flow POC and dynamic reactor. And this is looking good for a leverage scalping movement on the 4 hour, right? And then a possibility to reach out all the way down here. So for me, best area of entries will be somewhere around starting at 0.39 as Crypto Player has defined. By the way, shout out for you, brother. Great entry right there. And then for a possible scalp, we could be looking at those areas. All right, I just had an alarm ringing here. Seems like we're reaching the target on quant services. Just quick shout out there. We are hitting our target on PWR. All right, so quant services hitting targets right there. So that's what I got. Trade flight, turning it back to you, and then also taking a look at next up, maybe Ave or Quant, whatever you have not yet taken.
I got Matic up in the background right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover that, and then I will let you.
I'll take
roll with
Ave.
what you got. Cool. Sweet. Looking at Matic right now. I was doing some stuff in the background. Shout out to Reggie Classics. He was giving a little alpha there in the chat. He said, throw a fib inside the fair value fair value gap. Add some 0.5 extensions on your fib, especially the negative 2.5. He has not found an asset that doesn't hit it yet. So there you go. I will take a look at that, man. I am on the daily for your essay there, Reggie, but I'll take a look at that. I'll look at it on the daily, the 4 hour. I'll kind of see how that plays out on different charts, and maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. So looking at Matic right now, I got that on the daily. As you can see, it has been really struggling getting back over the golden pocket there when it broke down. It broke down pretty hard. You also have the value area low there at the bottom side that it's been struggling with. So a lot of the resistance on the top side for Matic. We're going to have to let it break through there before really we can get too interested in that. Hopefully, we've gotten some news. But I guess one thing to look at, right? A lot of things have been pulling back over the last day just because, let's go 4 hour here. All right. One of the things that interests me, and I was kind of talking about this, I was like, hey, what do you think about things like Matic? What do you think about, some of the ones that were named as securities? Well, look how Matic doesn't seem to be pulling back as hard as everything else, right? Even Bitcoin has moved back, a couple percent. Looking at Matic, it doesn't look that bad. Let's go ahead and just look. So it says minus 3%, right? It's an altcoin. You would expect probably an exponential move in comparison to Bitcoin. But just looking at the chart here doesn't look too bad, right? It looks like it's trying to push up and right now because we had support. You're finding support here. And then we had a descending triangle. It broke out of that. Actually, looks like it hit the smart target there. Chart Prime shout out. That thing is amazing. Gives you the green bubble. So that's what that green bubble is saying. That it's actually a break of the pattern. Then it actually gives you smart targets to play it up to. So it'll give you an exit, which is kind of nice. And yeah, this is really a struggle, but we are testing it. It looks like over and over again. Kind of the analogy I like to use is it's like chopping a tree. Chop it enough times, it's going to fall down, right? So, everyone has kind of a different thought on that. I know some people are of the mindset that, hey, the more times it tests, the stronger it gets. I would say I'm a little bit opposite, but what I see here is pressure building up. Like, I know that the pattern is not exactly drawn there. Let me go ahead and take the Dynamics Pro off here, and I'm going to draw my own little line right here. So what I'm looking at is look how the price action is continuing to press up. So I'm looking for that. And then I'm not going to actually, I wouldn't enter right here just to be fully transparent so you understand what I'm looking at. But what I'm saying is pressure's building up. We're going into an area of resistance. If we break through, you could have a nice move up and right, probably up to as high as the 0.5, right? So you could see a really nice move here. Ultimately, you know, as we always talk about, what you would like to see is a little bit of a retest in there. Let me see if I can drag this over. I got a line already in the way. There we go. How about that? Oh, I got it locked. See, Mark Dutch, man, if you're in the chat, you always tell me to lock my fibs. And look, man, it actually messed me up because I can't move it. There you go. All right. So moving it to the right here a little bit. What I'd like to see is a break through this area of obviously clear resistance, get on top of that, and then actually retest. And then I'm looking for that move up and right. So I would like it to come back down, retest, and then we'd like to see a continuation of this, right? Because that is still pushing up and right ultimately. So it is showing a little bit more strength. But yeah, I just want to break this area right here. So keep an eye on this area at 77 cents to about 80 cents. All right. Once it breaks that area, then you can kind of start getting interested in a long position for Matic. Now, if it does come back down here and you're playing something intraday or maybe scalping, you can look at about 66 cents. That has been very clear support. 64 to about 66 cents has been support. So that could be an opportunity if you kind of want to play the range here. Yeah, so just that's a quick look at Matic. What else you got, OC? I'm going to flip it back over to you, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to be taking Ether by CryptoPoint's request. So another thing that I've been looking here are the reversals also playing out very, very nicely. Also, guys, there's a little bit caveat here that I need to explain to you, which it is how I use reversals, right? Remember, I always say it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. So reversals are not meant to have or show you full trend reversals. They're meant to show you short-term, immediate change of direction, right? So if you want to learn more a little bit of the reversals, I have a full video right here on my page. I'll be showing or sharing on Piper's Academy Discord how to use those reversals. And I want to point out, like, for example, number 3, right? Going down, having the reversal, a little range, and that gives you the continuation to the downside. So not only reversals are meant to give you reversals, but also to give you full patterns. And I have classified 1, 2, and 3 patterns from those reversals, right? Very quick, we can see that reversal acting up in here, right? With going down, reversal, little range, and continuation of its downside. So just so you are aware on how reversals work and just don't take them blindly, you do need to see which kind of pattern the reversal are talking about, because, like, for example, here in Ava, we can see pattern number 2 playing out very, very nicely. Not only nicely, but very well reacted. Let me just clean this up and show you, like, for example, here it's not about the breakout. It's about the retest with the reversal show dynamic reactor pushing forward. So Ava looking good, right? Ava looking good. We can see a little bit of a volatility weakening here. Let me just clean things up here. And basically not getting too affected of what have happened on the markets lately, right? But we are breaking a big range that we had from very far out, right? So we can see this little ranging here, which also looks like a very choppy, not that great, but very choppy YKF pattern with coming down, little range, V-shaped recovery, high, not high in the previous range, and that gives us 70% of change of ranging, right? It seems like we are breaking through retest. All right, and off we go. We need to be a little bit careful because we're not there yet, and we see that downwards pressure. Why? Because yes, we are above the 0 line, but we have not yet broken into the green cloud on our oscillator. All right, so we need to start seeing when we start breaking to the green cloud here, and also very important for me, I will be looking at the prophecy change, right? Because we have been moving forward a little bit, but we are not there yet on that prophecy pumps. So I want to see that prophecy pump for a complete of a possible pattern, and then start jumping into a couple of trades, right? At this point, we have not yet broken the most important resistance that we have right now, which is this area right here around 98, 97. Right, so I also want to see that breakout, maybe going for the retesting here, and that will be most possibly what I also see my prophecy changing, my opportunity for a possible re-entry right here at the flip of the ribbon, and then off we go. this could be a big movement. Something else I want to point out is look at the volatility, how Aave moves, right? Sometimes it is just too crazy. So this could be a big movement, and I'll be looking at this area right here. Why? Because if I start throwing here, there we go, my volume profile, let's just wait for that volume profile to update. There we go, because just so you guys remember, the way to configure your volume profile is just adding or subtracting amount of candles. Like, for example, if I subtract candles to my left, you'll see that this should be there we go, it start updating, and then it will be updating based on the amount of candles and the candles information. All right, so I'll be looking at this area first, and secondary area I'll be looking at this other area next. All right, so based on this positive area, if we can break this resistance, I think we have a clean spot or clean path all the way up here. So be warned, this could be a fast movement to the upside if we see Bitcoin stabilizing and bouncing up, right? I'm giving this maybe 1 week of a continuation pattern. So we'll see. Also remember, guys, a smart trader is a prepared trader. So despite I am betting or favoring longs at this point, I also need to acknowledge that the market could be flipping on me, right? And having a plan B, it is very, very smart. So what's going to happen if it flips back down? Well, in areas of entry, for me, it's going to be this delta area with this other delta area with big volume zones, right? So let me just mark this one up for you. And this is going to be my next entry areas if the market reverses on me. All right, so there we go, we have it a little bit more clear and clean. Let me just pull in here some resistance so we can see the possible scenarios that we have, right? So far so good. Looking forward for this possible continuation on Aave. Turning it back to you, brother.
Right on. All right, I got Coinbase up. Why do I have Coinbase up? Well, because it broke out of a little trend that I was following here for a little while, and it came down. It got a true retest, and now it is starting to make its move up and right. Now, we are kind of in between because we do have resistance that's sitting at about 235, probably ranging up to about 241. But you know, it could be on, man. If it makes its move up and right and makes it through this area of resistance, you could see a pretty nice move of continuation up and right for Coinbase. So keep eye on that. Again, we broke out of a trend. We did get a true retest here. Going to keep it pretty quick. We have been talking about Coinbase since it did come down to the golden pocket, which is really where we were getting more interested. And we had these hits of bullish divergence here. So multiple hits too, which that kind of is a stronger indication that we might be getting a reversal or a little bounce here, which it did. So really Coinbase just continuing to push up and right. One thing I need to look into that I was just kind of thinking about in the background is I know that Coinbase is the custodian for, I think, like 13 of the ETFs for Bitcoin. I wonder what the play is there for Coinbase, if there is any, in terms of the ETF for Ethereum. So that could be a big catalyst for Coinbase. I have to look into it, see how that works. I know that it is not directly one for one when you're talking about proof of stake and proof of work, but that is something maybe for you guys to do a little bit of research on. Maybe I'll do that research and we'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. But it looks like we are getting close to wrapping this one up. I'm going to go to Duo Cam here and we are going to start closing this one out. I'll pass it to OC, see what you got for the alumni, for the people that are watching today. And yeah, I'll pass it to you, man.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks so much for joining today. And I see that we have a ton of viewers. So please hit that like button and make us happy. Please share that like, share that video, and yeah, help us out to reach out more people and also spread the love and the TA.
There it is. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. It is truly, truly appreciated. I love mixing it up with you guys in the chat. Again, it is always one of my favorite things to do. Sorry we had a little bit of technical difficulties today with the audio. I am still learning how to run these shows a little bit, but we made it. And yeah, it's again, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Again, we truly appreciate it. If you did get anything from it, please give us a like and subscribe. Come on over to our Discord. We love mixing it up with you guys there, and we do drop a little bit of nuggets, especially if you are a member. We do drop some trade setups. We're going to try to be a lot more active with that, and hopefully I will see you guys there. You guys have a great weekend, and Piper will be back next week. So with that being said, take care.
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.